What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a while since I uploaded on the channel. So today I'm just going to give you a little bit of an explanation on like what caused my hiatus, what my upload schedule will be like coming here recently, and what I've been up to in the meantime. So first and foremost, basically what the situation became of my life is thanks to a lot of people, watching this video, I presume, and who follow me on social media, geminspector.com, the pre-grading service that I started in mid-February, has officially processed well beyond 5,000 cards. And again, we're like, 3.5 months in operation. So that is absolutely outstanding. I appreciate all of you who have submitted thus far. I will say that of all the customers that have submitted, almost every single one has sent more than one submission. And so that's indicative of, customers being satisfied with the process, the speed, the turnaround times, the price, and also the results that we are offering here at Gem Inspector. My eBay store has taken a little bit of a backseat, but I'm getting that kicked back up along with the content right now. And kind of what happened is between running my eBay store, Gem Inspector, those of you that have been around for a while, you know that I also, work a full-time job in the education field. I also coach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes, and I have some online nutrition clients as well. So that is like 5 jobs total. And so what my life has looked like for the past 3 months is basically waking up at 4 a.m. and going to sleep around 11 or 11:30 p.m. every day, and pretty much just working nonstop except for about 3 or 4 hours worth of family time. And it is, I'm not here to say that like, oh, if you're not doing that, you're messing up or whatever. It sucked a lot, actually. It wasn't very fun running on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Bear in mind that like with that 11:30 p.m. to 4 a.m. window, we also have a baby in the house and a toddler. So sleep interruptions are pretty customary in the Pika Drew household. So it just is what it is. I felt that was, for what it's worth, about the longest I would want to be working to that capacity. But I'm in a situation right now where for the next couple of months, I have a lot of my daytime hours opened up. So right now what I'm doing is just literally, pre-grading cards until I run out of sleeves. I am putting slabs and sealed product and singles for sale back up on my eBay store. I'm starting to upload on Gem Inspector's Instagram page as well as this YouTube channel. And I just really want to see how far I can take things this summer. Obviously, the market is absolutely ripping beyond, what we thought was imaginable. We're going so hard that like in this box right next, so I have a document scanner, I have a brand new PC, and what I'm like, I don't even have time to set this stuff up right now because I am constantly just I'll clear out Gem Inspector orders and then more show up in the post office box, and I'm, packaging and selling cards, and it's a beautiful problem. And again, all of this is taking place while, really loving my family and maintaining a rural property and, doing a whole bunch of other jobs all at the same time. But, you kind of get to this point where it's like, when your tree grows too many branches, like it's necessary to prune it so that the actual tree can stay healthy. And so pretty much, in pruning my tree, in lieu of all of that, YouTube content was a branch that got lopped off. Uploading on the Instagram page was a branch that got lopped off. And I presume that at the end of summer, some other branches will have to go too. And basically why I chose content specifically is I'm just not making money off of this stuff. Like, I do this for fun. I do this just to kind of give updates and document my experience within this hobby space and the like. So this isn't like a super lucrative financial opportunity for me. It's just a hobby, this content thing. And so for that reason, I kind of did have to make space for the things that were bringing in, revenue generating opportunities. But we're back now. Life is good. I don't know, PSA, I think the last time I made a video, it was about the PSA submission that got like absolutely hammered, like a 20% gem rate. Since then, they went back and fixed fixed the grades on a lot of those cards, meaning that they regraded them and upgraded a good amount. Since then, the results have been pretty normative, more of what I've experienced in the many years prior to this. So that's a good sign. What else have I been up to? I have been submitting probably somewhere between 1 and 200 cards a month to Fanatics for CGC grading and then Fanatics auction. Up until the value tiers got shut down at PSA, I was submitting 25 to 50 cards a month there, and that was all just at the $50 tier or higher. I've started now submitting directly to CGC to get cards actually physically back in my possession, in addition to grading through Fanatics. And that is to the tune of maybe 1 to 300 cards a month that I think I'm looking at. But yeah, so it's just definitely, I've still been super involved in the hobby. I've been very enthusiastic. I've actually been interacting with cardboard for more net hours per week over the last, several months than I have in the previous 7 years that I've been in the hobby. So I guess in that regard, it's a pretty cool thing, because at the end of the day, I do enjoy these things. And so getting to handle them for such large chunks of time is a privilege, in my opinion. So again, thank you to everyone who's allowed me to do that for you. It's been fantastic. But yeah, so some changes related to all of this. Obviously, when you're starting a new business, particularly one that doesn't get facilitated by a third party like eBay, for example, like Pikachu Collectibles, it is facilitated under the exposure power of eBay as a platform. And so what that means is eBay is bringing me, hundreds of thousands or millions of impressions on any given day, week, month, however far you want to extrapolate that out. So basically, they're sourcing the consumers for me. Whereas Gem Inspector, this is completely reliant on me getting the word out there. And so obviously I'm running advertisements on various podcasts. I'm posting on social media about the business. I am offering referral bonuses for my recurring customers. And that's all to help spread the word about my service. And so with that said, I wasn't really sure what to expect when I started this thing. I could have pre-graded, just to be candid, the total cost of starting up this business was sub $1,000. And so I would have been very pleased to process $1,000 over the course of this calendar year, because it would have meant that I didn't lose money starting this business. And I've already, pretty greatly, maybe close to 6 times that. And, it's a cool opportunity. I wasn't sure how busy this stuff would make me. And obviously I know the back end numbers of what my total output capacity is on paper as just a solopreneur running this thing. I know that I could make time to do a heck of a lot of cards, and it will be interesting to see if that ever becomes a reality. But for now, I'm just offering, the greatest quality service that I can to the customers that are willing to submit to me their cards. Being such a new business, being such a boots on the ground entry level operation. Obviously it's backed by a lot of experience and stuff, but it's a new thing. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but I'm extremely pleased with how things have panned out. In terms of just grading and reselling cards, I've still been doing that in the background. I've been leveraging or leaning a lot into consignment services. So I have over the last several months sent quite a few higher end cards like Z&G Emporium for both auction and buy it now. I have been utilizing CGC Fanatics pretty religiously, and then some cards I have just continued selling myself, and so things are going good. But if you guys recall, if you've been sticking around on the channel, in 2025 I broke the 6-figure mark in gross revenue for eBay. And so this year, a big goal of mine was to hit somewhere around $200,000 or $250,000 in revenue. And obviously this big, time shift has basically how I'm allocating my time, my man hours every day. That is changing how my 90-day total looks on eBay, and it's actually crazy. I still have a multi 5-figure 90-day total, so things are going fine. But crushing like 200K on eBay might be a little bit tough, on just my store especially. I think when I aggregate all of the revenue generated by, Pikachu collectibles on eBay, the consignment exposure that I have had, taking into consideration Fanatics and Gem Inspector, I still believe that my general presence in the hobby will probably be, up there. But yeah, and I think that this is just the beginning. I think that when you take a look at, this business that frankly right now I have about, what is that, like 10 to 15 customers, let's say. That's not that many. Like, that's not that many people that have contributed to this, like, expectation exceeding outcome. And so when you take a look at, like, I've been able to do somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 cards in Gem Inspector over 3.5 months with like 10 to 12 people. And that number is kind of like not concrete. It's not like all those people were submitting to me all from day one. I've kind of picked up some as time has gone. And so, which means advertising is working, right? So when you take a look at that idea, it's like, okay, well, you double that. It doesn't necessarily mean that the numbers of cards pre-graded are just going to double. Like, that might be an exponential increase. Like, I'm picking up some customers that are submitting several hundred cards on a bi-weekly basis. I have, some customers submit smaller amounts, or maybe they're going for like the collector tier where they get the pre-grading notes, and it's just this fascinating cocktail of, utilization. And I don't know, I'm interested to see where it goes. I hope that you guys aren't interpreting this as just like a Gem Inspector ad or whatever, but this is like, it's a new business. I haven't talked about like the outcomes that I've experienced that much so far. So just kind of like putting this all out there. Getting my knee-jerk reaction and thoughts. My wife is like shocked that it's gone so well so far. Not that she didn't believe in me from the rip. Like, I'm a pretty neurotic person, if you couldn't tell, so I'm like thinking a lot constantly, and I'm also kind of like an external processor, so I talk my ideas out a lot, which again bodes well for the YouTube thing, right? But so basically my wife hears a lot about this stuff. And so when I come up with an idea and I'm like workshopping potential outcomes and solutions to problems and yada yada, she gets a pretty good read on like my level of confidence in something. And so she knew that I thought Gem Inspector was an idea that was at the very least worth pursuing. Like, we wouldn't be taking a severe financial loss from it either way. But yeah, it's just like our evenings together now look more like opening packages and, chit-chatting about our day instead of like watching Netflix or whatever, which we're not very big into anyways. But, it's cool because while I'm doing all the pre-grading and the communication and stuff, my wife is helping me like open packages or sort things out or whatever. And so it's just kind of like a cool opportunity that kind of turned into something that we weren't banking on necessarily. So I don't know, maybe I'm just talking myself into circles now. I really need to pick this workspace up a little bit because there's a lot to unpack, literally. So maybe that'll be my job as I end this recording. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at. I should be uploading, I think I mentioned like what my uploading schedule will be in the intro. So I want to set the bar low, right? Like under promise, over deliver type thing. I am hoping to be able to upload at least one video per week throughout at the very least the next couple of months. So that is something that hopefully you can expect from me as well. I do tend to be a pretty consistent person, so if I'm putting it out there, the odds of me actually like following through are quite high. So there's that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next videos. Please check me out at geminspector.com if you haven't already. But with that said, have a good one.